One of the misconceptions, well, one of especially many beginners they start collecting pigments. And they have dozens of, I mean, I have 220, 30 different pigments. Most of them are just gifted to me and I don't use them. It's actually better to kind of constrain yourself. And use as little.
Are these ground pigments? Is that what
yes.
They're not liquid in there,
No,
they're ground?
no.
Yeah, okay.
So actually, there is something what is called tetrachrome iconography, which uses only 4 colors. Something red, something yellow, something white, and something black. I like to add burnt umber, which is brown, but it's very deep, wonderful, warm brown, which you could try to achieve by mixing red and black. I like this. It's a little bit of a, and you can.
Like a graphite one.
Yes, exactly. You could use graphite. The only thing is, everywhere even. Okay, this place in your home, in your house, all it needs is just one fly. And I'm going to show you an icon because it was actually one of my teachers who was like telling us, always cover your icon and never leave it alone. And he walked away for like 5 minutes to explain something to one of us. And he walked back and it was like, what is a disaster. Some of you already saw that icon.
Oh.
It's
there
bad.
was one fly at Mass this morning.
Yeah. Fiber thing, it's very soft. And you can always, like as you paint, you can always use it to rest your hand on.
Oh.
If you don't want to touch the board, especially when it's already gilded, because you may scratch off your gold. Going upwards, downwards or upwards, how the whole expression changes. Sometimes it just may be a little bit off, not because it was, drawn in the wrong spot, but because just the shadow shifts, the shadows shift or something. So the good thing about this is, see, even if I wipe it off, my lines are still visible. Wipe it all over the thing. I don't want drops anywhere. So if there's like a puddle, I just kind of try to wipe it off. But they're etched, so you're still gonna keep them.
And what if you didn't?
Second coat.
But only
Of shellac.
in those areas that I'm gonna gild. So I'm not putting them on the face, on the hair, just here on the frames, in the background. And here, the ribbons, the part of the headscarf, I would say we're gonna gild them. And then we're gonna paint on top because they're so thin, I'm afraid you're gonna have very kind of uneven edges.
Yeah.
So I'm having another one, not too much. I don't want it to drip. And I'm adding another layer, kind of roughly where I'm gonna gild. If I overlap a little bit with what I'm painting, that's fine. You don't have to be super precise here.
You just want to preserve the face.
Yeah, want the paint to stick to something, but it already gives you a nice and soft finish to your, as a background to your, or the base for your gilding.
You want it like creamy, like the, no.
Kind of, see like kind of the opacity that I'm having now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do want opacity, okay. So I'm starting with the edge, only where I need it. If I go a little bit over it, that's fine.
You want to go in the little cracks?
Yes. Thank you. But it doesn't have to be super precise because we will need to scratch some of it off anyway to clean it up. Because it's almost impossible to apply the gold only when you need it, only where you need it. It's just kind of always gets everywhere. So that's what we have the blade for. We're just going to scratch it off. There's something what is called surface tension, and your paint will not stick to gold. It just kind of tries to run away all over the place. So we need to reduce, we kind of need to fight against it. And there are a few ways to do it. Either by making your paint thicker, so adding more pigments, so there's less liquid. That's the liquid, that water is our problem. Or by adding some substance that is going to reduce the surface tension. Garlic juice is one of them. Or soap. Not too much, because you don't want to have a foam. If you have like too much of your wax,
There is a eraser that's good for removing ink.
all the way in there, all the way to where it kind of you have this edge.
Well, we gotta add one more layer to that. There's gotta be 2 layers.
Oh, here, gilding between 1 hour and 3 hours, asterisk. Maximum hardness after 24 hours. Okay, this is not. Solvent, white spirit, don't mix with the without lead gold sizes. Okay, just don't mix it. So again, it says 3 hours. This is average. It kind of all depends on your environment. Try to maybe work with a 12 hours one. Or just switch altogether to water gilding. Water gilding is beautiful. It's just, there's a lot of prep work and more than enough. The texture, if you see the brush strokes, that means there's too much of it. If you see dry spots, like you should have like a even shiny surface all around it. So if you see a little bit of a unevenness in it, like some drier spots, that means you need a little bit more. You don't need to go all the way to the board, because we're going to paint a frame afterwards. But I go almost there. I just don't want to go like paint over the side, right? Because then it's a little bit kind of into. So this is kind of what we're going for. See? You can just pass it.
Yeah, shiny.
It's shiny, but there's no puddle. You can come closer. You can pass it.
No, I can see what you're doing.
All right. So, and the thing is, your gold will only adhere where you have your size, which means when it gets to the hair and the wings and all this stuff, I want to go a little bit inside. Just a little bit, because we will need to scratch out the axis later. So if you add too much, there's going to be more work for you later. But if you don't have enough, again, you're going to have missing gold, and there's going to be. Quality control.
Some wine in there.
Oil or walnut or poppy seed. There are watercolors which are bound with gum arabic, and egg tempera is just another type of paint. As a binder, we use egg yolk pretty much. I mean, it's an egg emulsion, but the most important ingredient of it is just the egg yolk, and it's super simple. It's actually one of the oldest binders out there. So all those Renaissance paintings that you know, they're all made with egg tempera. All those tiny details, all of that stuff, this is all egg tempera. It's really fun. So all we pretty much need is just egg yolk and water. This is like the bare bone minimum. Now, egg yolk and water don't really mix very well. It's going to separate over time. So it's nice to have some stabilizer, and we have some options there. Alcohol works very well. So I like to use wine, because, especially white wine, because, well, it's more or less colorless. You can use some spirits, but you need to dilute them first, because you don't want scrambled eggs. You can use vinegar. It works very well. It actually has some advantages, because it binds the proteins in the egg yolk, and it gives you a fairly translucent, almost clear emulsion, which is nice, but the smell is just disgusting. I usually use beer, and that's for a good reason because I don't really drink a lot, and opening a whole bottle just because I need like two teaspoons of wine, I was like, this is just wasteful. I do like beer, and it's smaller, so I can at least finish it. When I was in Germany, I was telling some of you, I was actually using some spirits. That was my first class. We learned to use ouzo. I love the smell. It's amazing. And I just had a bottle just standing there, you know, and it just stands on your shelf for years, and it's fine. So it doesn't really matter. The only thing is, again, if you use anything stronger than wine, add your water first. to
So
your
you're
egg yolk.
looking at an absolute alcohol by
Yes.
volume of less than 12%.
Yes. So then add your water first, then your alcohol. Now, as I was telling some of you in the morning, you can find lots of different recipes for egg emulsion. Sometimes they're incredibly precise. In my experience, I mean, this is not a rocket science. It doesn't matter. Again, think of think of Greek shepherds. They didn't have scales. They didn't have measuring cups. It works well. 1-to-1 ratio when it comes to egg yolk and your liquid, whatever it is.
1-to-1 ratio.
More or less. So that I would, you know, like if it's beer or wine or a mixture of some sort of spirit with water, more or less 1-to-1.
Would depend on the size of the yolk, though.
Yes,
too.
exactly. So you want to, so the volume of your
So you
egg
start
yolk.
with the yolk, probably.
Exactly. I'm going to show you right now.
Yeah.
Yes, Janice.
Orange
Um,
oil.
It's not a must, but it extends your shelf life. I mean, you need to refrigerate your emulsion anyway. You can leave it outside for a day, maybe 2. Like, you know, in temperature like this. If it's hotter, then you definitely need to refrigerate it every day. Over time, I mean, it's just going to start smelling, so we're going to know it's rotting.
You can add oil.
Which is kind of, it's funny. I tried only once. It's it gives you, it's called semigrasso, so half fat. And it's like you're halfway between egg emulsion or egg tempera and oil painting. There's a very good video I can show you later on YouTube. There's this Greek guy, Antonis. It's interesting. It's harder to work with because because the addition of oil kind of extends the drying time, which helps with blending, but then it requires more patience. I wash my hands, I already did it. I take my egg. You can come closer. All right, so I just crack open my egg, trying not to cut the egg yolk, obviously. I put it gently on my hand. Oh, and it broke, okay.
Oh, darn.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know.
Or it doesn't matter.
They look like large. I just brought them from the farm.
Oh,
Yeah. So it doesn't. So you kind of see the volume. So now I probably.
So we don't put any extra water in at all? Just
No, with wine you don't have to,
Okay.
because it kind of has the nice ratio. You don't have to add water
wine
with
in.
wine. You don't have to add water with beer.
Equal parts.
So again, if you
egg
had
and-
some liquor,
Yes.
add water first.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you add strong alcohol to your egg yolk, you're gonna make scrambled eggs right away.
Okay. All
I
right.
think that's what we're having for lunch, the scrambled eggs.
And then I add probably like two drops. That's enough. And again, this is optional.
2 drops optional, okay. And
Then make sure it's closed. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. I don't know. I'm just have my habits. Just like I always start painting with the eyes, or when I do outlines, or when I trace and do stuff like that. Okay, this is 5. Okay, I think we're gonna need 6 leaves. Wipe the excess away. And I kind of follow the seams, so in case my gold doesn't really stick at the edge, I don't rip it off. Here's my seam.
Huh.
But be gentle with this, or just wait. Because if the size underneath is still wet, it's gonna rip.
The iconographer starting her gold work.
Spinach meatballs, yum.
Right there. So I'm just kind of going this way with the tip. And the gold actually emphasizes your edged lines. You don't have to be like super precise. It's actually like, I don't want you to overdo it. So this time you really want to stay inside your line, right? Because the gold is your background. You don't want to have something missing. How to find the right consistency, because it needs to be a little bit runnier. This is a very, very vibrant color. Your gold is going to add a lot of contrast, so don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be very dark. It's gonna look darker than it actually is on top of your gold, but this is very bright. I'm going to add a little bit of my umber.
So that is acrylic. The red is acrylic paint for the halo.
If you find acrylic paint that you like, you don't need to add anything. It's just that I'm using what I have.
Oh, if you find the right color, that
Yeah.
you want to keep on here.
Yeah. Oh, is this to a scale? I don't remember. I think this is larger. Sorry. So I'm going here. I need to try to find the right radius. I have my ribbon here. I know that the halo is somewhere in between. I check it here just to make sure it doesn't touch anything that it shouldn't. Yeah, this is the radius I want. All right. So I can already make a point here on my board where I need it. Kind of gently, so I can still change it if it's
And you
not.
have needles on both ends?
No, only on one.
Oh, and what's the other one? Oh,
The paint will go in the other one.
So I'm not really punching into it. I'm not pushing in, so I can still check just to make sure that it doesn't touch the wings or the ribbons. Yeah, this is where I want to be. So they can punch just a little bit, so I can find exactly the same spot. You don't want to push too hard because then you're going to have a hole, and that's kind of distracting. Okay, so we have the center point, we have the radius. Now we need to find, oh, and I moved it again.
Is there a little screw to lock?
Yeah, there's a screw. That's a good thing about compasses with a screw. It just stays there no matter what. Unless I screw it, unless I turn it again. So now I need to find the right consistency of my paint. I put it in there.
Does that have to be the center of his face or the center of the board or the board of that area?
The center of the head.
Right, okay.
So because he's washing, so you want to have the same distance from here to here and from here to here.
Got it.
And here, roughly. Okay. If you want to, when you load if you do anything with the compass and there is paint on it, but you're not painting, hold it very horizontally. Because of gravity, if I hold it like this, I'm going to have a drop here in the bottom. I don't want it yet. So I'm holding it like this. This is more or less the amount I need. For now, it's like I'm just trying to find the right consistency. Oh, there we go, okay. Just want to make sure it flows nicely. See, this is the consistency we want.
And it has to be enough to go around the whole thing.
Yes, exactly. You want to do it all at once.
Yeah, no backing up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay.
well, I was lucky. I managed to mix the paint exactly as I want it to be. You want to practice first on your paper. If it flows too fast, if it creates bubbles, it means, or no bubbles, drops.
Blobs.
Yeah, blobs. Then it means you have too much water. It's too runny. If it stops somewhere along the way, even though you still have paint on it, it means you need more water. It's too thick. So, all right, we're going here,
Stresses me out.
and I can go in there. I'm going to start here because even if there starts with a blob, I can still paint over it. Sometimes it's easy to have a little bit of paint to start with. And you want to go kind of consistent speed, kind of fast, so it doesn't stop somewhere along the way.
God.
So this is kind of the right speed. And I'm out of paint.
I'll pay
Okay.
$10 to anybody to do this for me.
No. Brother to
You
do
can
it
do
for
it.
you.
Yeah. All right. So again, I have the same point still. I'm going to start from the other side.
Oh, mama.
There we go.
Perfect.
There's this one spot here where it was just missing a little bit. Okay. Done.
That,
Emulsion works, and then you can adjust accordingly. You can always add water. If it's too thick, you can always add water. So I'm just giving a quick wash everywhere. Kind of like this. I'm going to finish it later, just so to show you what I'm doing next. Okay, I don't have my spatula. I left it somewhere. So normally you would take your spatula, the small one, metal one. You take a little bit of your burnt umber. Again, this is the only brush you're using for mixing your paint. Don't use these. These are for painting. These are cheap. I have 50 more if you break one, so don't worry. This, you want to keep the quality because that's going to make your life easier. It's going to make your work easier. So I'm mixing my paint. Now, the medium is called egg tempera. That means because the pigment is tempered. It's the same thing as with chocolate, the idea. Tempered means that you have just the right amount of your medium. What you want is, these are all powders. They need to be, so think of it like, let me draw it a little bit. You have all those tiny irregular particles of your pigment, right? Irregular because it's natural. I mean, this is just a visual so you understand how it works. And you want the emulsion to cover each of them. You don't want it to flow in a buttery kind of liquid because that's going to make it makes for a very greasy finish, and sometimes the paint just doesn't really adhere great. So I know it sounds totally abstract, but you can actually, you will learn to kind of feel your paint. You want to have a nice buttery flow, kind of like here. Okay, well, let me mix it again so we can see what happens when you don't have enough, when you don't have enough emulsion. Yeah, it's already happening. See, so here, I don't have enough egg, and I can see single grains. That means the pigment is not tempered. We need more emulsion to keep it all together. Exactly. So if something like that happens, that means you need more egg. The egg is the binder. So you need just the right amount of egg to make the paint, well, to bind the paint, to bind the pigment. If you want your paint to be lighter, add water. You can always add water if you have enough egg.
Right, okay.
But if you don't have enough egg, your painting is going to be dusty. Like you could even like wipe off your pigment because there's nothing holding it together. So I have this here. It's well tempered. I'm going to need a little bit more, but this is just to kind of show you what's happening next. I don't make it too thick. I think in my little brush, number 0 or 1. Some of you have 1, some of you have 0, just because I didn't have enough. The difference is minimal, you won't even notice it. And I'm going all over my outlines. Okay, this is, so first my egg everywhere, right?
Oh, egg
So normally I would finish it, I just wanted to make it faster for you. This is fast
So
forward.
you're gonna be doing it over the place that you washed.
Yeah.
Ah. Fine.
So it doesn't have to be super thick in terms of, you know, dark or, because if you mix your paint too thick, it's gonna like kind of stick out. Okay, that gives you this weird 3D effect.
We've seen a few of those eyes.
Yeah. So again, you're still gonna paint it later. This is not the finished eye yet, so don't worry about that. I just want to know where it is. Also, it already creates some shadows that I will need later.
So you're basically going over the lines.
Yes.
and-
If you're a little bit off,
Right.
if you're a little bit off, again, saliva. See how quickly it disappears? Boom, gone. Again, I'm trying to use only one joint at a time. So only my wrist, I'm not using my elbow. Try to have nice organic lines. So, and it's going to help you, well, there's several things. First, don't go too slow, because if you paint slow, your hand will shake. You don't want to just, you know, be super sloppy either, right? You need some degree of precision. So try to go a little bit faster. Then hold your brush a little bit higher, not here, because then every tiny movement will be visible. If you're here, this is like suspension in a car. It's going to be forgiving. Like, there are, well, I don't have any, but there are, like, you know, brushes for lettering, they have super long hair, because that gives you those smooth lines.
Well, for Johnny's brush, you have longer bristles.
Yeah. It's a little bit on the thicker side. So I may actually add, well, again, you would use the spatula because, you know, I just lost it somewhere. I'm gonna find it.
No problem.
But just add a little bit more. Okay, now I added water too.
Yes. And that'll be around the hairline.
Yeah. It still kind of pulls off from the gold. I let it dry, I'll be back. So I have a nice and crisp line. I personally believe that this is one of the most Erlyn, could you just be a little bit quieter? So I believe that this is one of the most important thing about the icon, to have a crisp line where your painting meets the gold. If it's sloppy, this is going to be so distracting. This is what people first pay attention to. And you don't want them to pay attention to hair, you want them to pay the attention to the eyes. So this has to be nice and crisp. So it's going to take a few layers for the paint to adhere to my gold. I may go just a little bit, the tiniest amount possible over the edge, because your paint will adhere better to the to egg rather than to gold.
Right.
But this will be visible. That's why I'm saying as little as possible. You know, like I could just all the way out there, but that will still count. I put another layer, but a little bit smaller, so shorter. Yeah, I don't start all the way at the beginning. I start a little bit later, and I add my second layer, and I don't go all the way to the end. And I add a third one. I start a little bit farther again, and again, and again, and again. See? Okay. Do it. So if you use your nice, soft brush, which you want to be soft because you want to be gentle when you paint, and you try to mix your paint, it actually damages the brush. That's why you have this. And I have a bunch of these. So if you don't worry about breaking them, whatever, I can give you a new one. Also, there are brushes over there on the counter. Exactly.
Soak the whole brush.
So now, see, I'm moving my hand, but I'm not touching my board yet, but I'm slowly lowering the brush.
You're going in for the landing.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very thin. Because what happens is if you try to, as soon as you touch your board, the paint starts flowing and it creates this blob. So even if you try, you know, just the tip, boom, and now we paint. See?
You're right.
It is thicker at the beginning. So I already move and then I lower my paint, my brush. It's so much nicer. So again, I start thin, thicker, and again. And then you may want to try the same thing with curves. Generally in Slavic tradition, in Russian schools, sunkirs are going to be more greenish, while the Greeks tend to work with warmer colors. We need quite a lot because we need to cover everything.
Green, yellow, ochre.
What are our... Yeah, I would cover everything, including the cloth, the garment, and the wings.
Anything that's white on there gets green.
Yeah.
Can you spell Sankir?
Sankir.
Oh, okay.
Or proplasmos.
Do they call it, like, is that plasmos for them means blood?
Or
something?
No, I don't know. I think you can barely see it, but I will come back. Now I go maybe a little bit in the fold in the eyelid. And then also, see, now I have a dry brush. There's nothing there. There's almost nothing coming down. And with this, I can blend nice.
Oh, it's still wet.
I can work with pure ochre, or I can add a little bit of red to it. Now here's the deal. It can be an intentional choice if you want your face to be a little bit warmer. Warmer faces also look a little bit younger. So if you want an old person, I would go on the cooler side. So it can be intentional sometimes. For those of you who are doing it for the first time, you have no idea about your skills, so you cannot predict it yet. But sometimes people tend to make their lights too pale. And if you know that that's kind of what you struggle with, then I would say add a little bit of red. I know most of you have no idea what I'm talking about yet. Don't worry. I would say, you know what? Probably for most of you, maybe except for Janice, because your Sankir is so light, so airy, so I don't think I would add any red.
Okay, thanks for the tip.
But for others, you're pretty opaque. So I would probably add just a touch of red to my ochre. And this step actually in Ukrainian, it means literally to ochre. Ochshania or something, I don't remember. I'm pretending I can remember what I learned 6 years ago. I remember the next step, what it's called in Ukrainian. That's rumiane. Really important. With the shadows, they were a little bit forgiving because the paint was very watery. Now the blending, this is actually going to be visible, parts of it. I'm showing you where the areas, the rough areas where we're working, but we need a nice smooth blending. And why that is important, sometimes people look at something like this and see, okay, my lights go here, so they start here. And then they end up having too wide lights. But this is already why I need to blend. So I prefer to stay where I have a lot of light. And then I can slowly expand over and over and over again. Okay. So this is a very bright area. I'm going to start here. And if I can, very gently, dry brush. And you can barely see anything. It's going to start showing up about the second, maybe third layer.
So is the paint fairly translucent?
Halfway there, I would say.
Okay.
And I have a flat brush.
Hardly anything.
Thank you.
So later, right now I'm just building on my foundation. Later, when I can improve, when I want to improve,
With
if I want to
flash,
improve my
flat
blending, I
brush.
can use this brush, this filbert, because it's naturally flat. And then I can work a little bit like on the edges. I wouldn't use it right away because it's so tiny. So we have an egg here. Sometimes we have two, kind of like I do. I mean, he kind of too, but it's much smoother. Then he has eggs here. These are egg-shaped. And eggs, I mean, I really try to visualize an egg because an egg is going to have a lighter side and a darker side. It's not symmetrical. There's always a direction. Every light has a direction. So that's why we have these. Then the nose. We have the part which is a bone, and then when it goes into a smoother, softer tissue, right here, and you can actually feel it.
Okay.
There's always like a hint of light. This is where light goes a little bit wider. Our angel has it right here. See?
Okay.
The tip of the nose. See how
Okay.
you can see it's lighter here. If this is the tip of the nose, the most light will be here. So every light has a direction. Same thing, the chin, right? The light comes from here, it hits right there. That's where it's more on the top. And then the cheeks.
The sphenoid bones.
Yeah, so wait a minute, here we are. Here are the eyeballs, right? Those bags under the eyes, visualize them right here under my fingers.
Okay.
So this is where the skin kind of goes out. And if the light comes from there, this is where it's going to hit the most. And then it wraps around down there. So again, the light is already a little bit diffused. It's reflected. So it's a little bit less light and kind of gently fades away. You can make a face a little bit more expressive. That's what I mean, angels are genderless, right? So it's kind of like a very smooth face. For like the Christ that we painted last year, you know, He's a man in his 30s, so we need a little bit more expression. We need a little bit bigger cheekbones. So we need a little bit more contrast between the cheekbones and the cheeks. Here we have an old face, so we have our jaw very emphasized. And kind of, this is kind of like where, well, I don't really have it very, well, I have a beard, so we cannot really see it. But we kind of have the cheekbone here. This is the cheekbone. And there's a skin wrapping around from both sides. I'm trying to look at you. Do you have anything like that? Joanne, you a little bit.
It's me.
You a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, as we get older, skin just gets a little bit soggy. And then,
Creepy.
yeah. So then, no, but it just kind of emphasizes those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a young face. This is again gender neutral face. Now here's the deal. I know it looks very, but I started there.
Sorry, I'm just saying it's always in the way from the direction.
Yeah, it's kind of
He's
hard with the
using
reflections
dry
and stuff.
brush. Very little
And you're
liquid.
using your 6 brush?
Yeah, I like my 6. You may want to switch to 4 or even to the filbert. Now, see, I didn't touch my ears. Normally, you would add red here on top of your ochre. Imagine I have ochre here. We have this, we have that. Obviously, our lips, but really just a little bit. You don't want him to look like he has a makeup or she or whatever. Now, a little bit more still in my cheeks. I'm just adding more and more white to my ochre. Have enough paint for my first and my second light. I know it doesn't tell you much. I mean, this will be my go away. This will be my first light. This is what I'm going now, and the next one. So I want to have enough for both.
It's the white. Can you switch?
What should I say? Well, a little bit warmer, maybe a little bit more natural, not as pale. I may add just a little bit of Terra Arcolano, just a dash. See how little is this? It doesn't need. I might actually. Let me take a little bit there, so we can compare it later. Now I'm adding just a little bit of white. Also, this white, it doesn't only make it brighter, it also increases the opacity. So that's why you're going to work much, much faster than just with the ochre. So I'm adding a little bit. I'm going to start with this. If you're too afraid of adding too much, just put some next to your pan, to the other one. We may dissolve it a little bit with water, and then, you know, just as we did with black at the beginning. Also, titanium white generally, it tends to flow on the surface on your liquid. So it's called wash. So you just mix your paint, make it very watery, very translucent, and generously, you add a very thin layer all over your plate. Still gonna need a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there just so it can dry. Let's move to the nose because it always makes a huge difference. And for this, I'm actually gonna go with this one. So I'm not covering all of my ochre. This is important. Otherwise, you're gonna turn it back flat again. We don't want that.
Here's your,
Sternal notch, that's
Yep.
that little dip.
Yep.
And then it kind of comes out on the,
and then, what is like, that's the sternal notch right there.
yeah, that's the sternal notch, and then the fullness above that.
Building our line, our volumes. But again, there's a lot here, and we're going all the way to the fold, right? Because there's a very nice separation. There's like
Right.
2 parts coming to a harsh line. So I'm going with my lights all the way to the bag under the eye. Wraps around the cheekbone, so it's kind of like going in this direction. The light is coming from above. That's why it's lighter. But then it falls down. And we need this separation. Sometimes people just keep going farther down and down and down, and it just makes it all look very, very flat. We need a contrast between the skin going in this direction and then wrapping around down.
Good afternoon.
I'm wiping it off so I don't have this blob right at the beginning. Paint a thin line. And maybe I'm not starting right at the beginning, maybe a little bit later. Do it because again that will give me a kind of this J.D. Vance eyes. So this is more like a shadow rather than, you know, actual eyelashes. Okay, now
Moving to the iris.
again tapered, so I'm starting very, very thin. I'm almost touching the eyelashes but not completely. And just a little bit off, you have a crossed-eyed face, and that doesn't look great.
When the pupil is off.
Okay, a little bit of my burnt umber with maybe a little bit of Terra Arcolano and what is it? Ochre. That's the word I'm looking for. Of white.
We're doing
So again,
the
black is
whites of
super
the eye.
strong, so I'm taking just there's like a dust on top. And this might be actually enough. Again, just to turn my ochre into this olive green color. This might have been actually
Just
too
added
much.
some white.
Yeah, see, I'm pretty much. There are just a few strokes, but we're going to make them at the end.
Working on the garments.
In Russian, they would actually put all of the basic colors at once. Pink. I don't want pink lights. I mean, this kind of has pink, but I think I would break it down a little bit with a little bit of ochre.
Sam.
Oh, my finger got stuck there. So, very slowly. I want nice, smooth face. They're gonna let it dry. It may take time before you're even able to see it. See, and now it's dry. It shows much better than it. I can leave it like this.
Then he's just doing thin, smooth lines. They're tapered.
Ochre with a little white for the highlights.
All right. These lines are curved. See, if it's too strong, I may dab a little bit.
Working on the nose, giving the
Still
nose
wet, but be
volume.
careful with that. And it has to be rather thick. See how it nicely kind of how much paint I already have. It was just a little bit of this powder and two drops of egg. All right, so it's 3 on each. All right. That's enough. Especially what to do about it. But the runnier you make it, the harder it is to paint on gold. But I can help myself by adding just a drop of soap. Yeah, literally the main
Soap reduces
purpose of soap.
surface
And I'm
tension.
gently mixing it in. You don't want to. I just decided to keep it as short as possible, and so I kind of have this on my paper as a reference.
What are you going to write? Or just a
Archangel
symbol?
Gabriel.
Oh, okay.
So 2 more points, so we have a nice coverage. What color was that? This is just my reddish with a little bit of burnt umber.
It's acrylic.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
acrylic.
acrylic plus
It's acrylic.
burnt umber
Okay.
plus soap.
You can use pure acrylic, I just don't like the color. Very steady line. So the only thing you need to control is the pressure, and you want it to be as steady as possible. And that's it. And then I'm going to come back here again. It has to bless and make holy these icons unto your glory, in honor and remembrance of your holy angels and archangels, and grant that, and Saint Elijah, and grant that this sanctification will be to all who venerate these icons and send up their prayer unto you, standing before it. Through the grace and bountiness and love of your only begotten Son, with whom you are blessed together with your all-holy God and life-creating Spirit, both now and ever and unto ages of ages. Amen.
Amen.
Hallowed and blessed are these icons of Saint Angels and Archangels, Saint Elijah, by the grace of the Holy Spirit through the sprinkling of holy water, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.